Hey, what's happening, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me once again as we continue on with the WWE Mattel Retros review video. So today we are on the third and final release in 2019 with Series 10. Now, I've been really excited about this in particular series because it includes two key figures from this entire line. One of them, as I've said a million times, had the WWF Hasbro of the 90s collection continued on into the latter half of the 90s, even just a year or two more, this character would have been made. There was just no doubt. Heavyweight champion, he was a bodyguard of Shawn Michaels, tag team champion with Shawn Michaels, just an absolute legend in both WWF and WCW. One of my favorite guys, because of his height, one of the best power bombs. You know, ranking right up there with like who do I like a lot? Adam Bomb. Adam Bomb's power bomb was one of my favorites. And Sid Vicious, of course. I mean, that's what Sid Vicious is known for, those power bombs. So, a couple of my favorites there. And who am I talking about? Well, none other than Diesel. Diesel to me is probably the number one greatest figure of this entire WWE Mattel Retros line. If not number one, I've talked about in Series 8, I thought Braun Strowman, he was one of those figures that could definitely challenge Diesel for the top figure seed among the line. And I'm going to pause real quick. Sorry, I had to pause because I realized I didn't pull this figure off of the loose display shelf. So, among these four figures, I only have one loose, and that is Diesel. As I said, probably the most important piece of the entire line. 20 years in the making in order to get this figure. And Hasbro ended in 94. We got this in 2019. So, 25 years in the making. Quarter of a century to get the figure that should have been made in the mid-1990s. And like I said, probably the most perfect among the group of Mattel Retros. Now, Ringside Collectibles with the NWO release of the 4-pack, they do have a second release of Diesel. That's okay. I always talk about not really enjoying when they realize the same exact figure. You know, yes, absolutely, I say it all the time, a repaint does constitute a new figure in my opinion, but I would much rather have them choose a completely different body pose to make the figure different and more unique as opposed to just a simple repaint in that case. But this particular Diesel is my bread and butter for this particular line. A very simple and easy pose, you know, like your Braun Strowman. And in fact, I think this might actually be the same body type as Braun Strowman. So you could technically say that Braun Strowman and Diesel are 1A, 1B instead of 1 and 2. Because, you know, they're both great figures. Arms spread apart. Great design and look to the figure. Because this is a guy I watched as a kid and Braun Strowman isn't. Yeah, I'll gravitate towards the Diesel all day, every day. And what do I talk about? The grip of the action figure. Fantastic piece. You can sit there and you hold the hands if you want to for play, but you know what? The hands aren't going to move. You hold it around the waist, you're good to go. Diesel is an absolute must-have. Definitely one of the most expensive carded figures I purchased. I think this guy was one of those that cost, you know, upwards of 3 digits. So, you know, you're going to pay $100, $110, $125. Today, you might have to pay up to $150. I don't know. I haven't really seen the market for carded figures because I haven't been really looking for Mattel Retros on card. I have them all. I really don't need to. But I know when I was actively searching for Mattel Retros to add to the collection, yeah, you could never find a Diesel figure for less than 3 figures. And getting this one, such an integral piece, not only for the collection, but for those memories and those nostalgia moments of play from childhood. Long time coming. For me, as you guys know, I didn't start collecting these until 2021, probably around November or so, 2021, and I think I completed the collection around, I think, I'm going to say January or February of 2022. So, yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 months to pick up the entire collection, but I mean, the amount of money that I had to burn through, the amount of savings I had to burn through to pick those guys up. So in December of 21 up until January 22, I was in Iraq. So, that actually helped a lot more with finances, of course. That's bad memories for me. 2 months. I've never deployed for such a short amount of time before, but I kind of said it before where I felt like, you know what, there's certain things that you're willing to put up with when you need to, based on education and work experience and your living wage back home and stuff like that. Your savings account, stuff like that. I didn't have to kind of put up with that abuse out there, so I was willing to leave after just 2 months. Horrible management. But that's a different story. In fact, that was a story I told probably last year. I want to say around episode 57 or 56, something like that, where I was kind of talking about, different jobs I work for and experiences that I've had with certain companies. But, yeah. It only took me a few months to pick up the entire collection, and of course, as you know, 22 and 23, they added 4 new waves, 4 new series, so the collection didn't officially end there anyways. So we saw the Jeff Hardy figure, and that was in series... when was Jeff Hardy was in series 8. Jeff Hardy had a black shirt with like pink pants or purple pants and whatnot. So you get Woken Matt Hardy, brother Matt Hardy. I don't know what it is about the Hardy brothers, why they dislike them so much that they give them both this absolute horrid body pose. And it's, you push on the leg just a little bit and the leg shoots up, and I despise that. It's so terrible. I was bidding on these guys. I think I was getting them loose, or they may have been carded. I don't remember. I'm going to say they were loose because I don't think I would try to buy carded figures when I already had these. So there was both Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, and I think I was bidding on them on auction, and I'm like, you know what, they're 2 figures. I need them at the time. I'm going to try and bid on them. I think I went up to like $10, $15 or something. And I thought that was severely overpriced. I didn't think I would spend that kind of money for these particular figures. And I think they sold for like $50 or $60. I don't think that Jeff Hardy is that valuable. For some reason, I think Matt Hardy is. And I think beforehand, when I had duplicates of these, I had a duplicate of Matt Hardy, and I think I only sold on card. I think I only sold them for like $15. So I'm like, man, did I screw myself out of additional finances? I don't know, man. To me, this is not a must-have. This figure kind of ruins it. Kind of ruins Series 10 for me. We just looked at Series 9 last video, and all 4 figures were absolutely amazing. You have 2 absolutely impeccable figures here. Third is a solid one, but the 4th one ruins the lot. But you got Matt Hardy, and you're going to follow it up with Elias. Most recently, one I think it was a Royal Rumble I saw him in, where he drew number 1, and he comes into the ring trying to play his guitar, sing, whatever, and then Jeff Jarrett draws number 2, comes in. Yeah, man, it's such an honor to meet you, Double J. I would love to sing with you, yada, yada, yada. Jeff Jarrett starts doing his thing, and then Elias bashes his guitar over him. I think Jeff Jarrett was tossed out immediately. I don't think he was in there for a long tender time. His arms are... his arms show muscle tone, but they're super freaking small, really thin. And when you actually look at this figure up close and personal, I don't like that. I used to think that the Elias figure was one of the best. Maybe because how much I covet the guitar accessory. I think Honky Tonk Man Hasbro with the guitar accessory is the #1 accessory with figure. Followed very closely by Jake Roberts with the snake. And with the Mattel Retros, with the LJNs, again, I think Honky Tonk Man and his guitar is the best accessory. I'm trying to think what I would probably classify as the second best accessory of LJN. If I had to put if I had to say, just kind of looking at them, I would probably say maybe the cattle prod from Terry Funk. I actually did. Look at me. I keep going back and forth. I did a video of my top favorite accessories from LJN and from Hasbro. If you guys are interested, I can leave you which videos those were. I don't exactly remember every single listing or every single spot for each individual accessory, but I don't remember any other accessories in this line. I'm trying to think. I know Paul Bear got a urn. I think Greg Valentine got himself a guitar. But I'm trying to think if there are any other figures that came with accessories, because I can't remember of any others. But either way, Elias, a good figure. Wasn't too pricey, considering the price of other figures, but it still costed me over $50 for it. So, I mean, I'm not happy about that, but me needing to complete the collection, sometimes you're forced to pay up. And I think this is just a punching motion. Nope. This is not. This is just a arm slamming motion on here. So, this is the Elias figure. Alright, so the last one we're going to look at, and you guys know how pleased I was by bringing in Iron Sheik. One of those guys who predated Hasbro's, one of the earliest wrestlers from either line that you saw. And here is yet another legend that we get to include in the Mattel Retros that was not part of Hasbro and had one of your top tier action figures from LJN. Who are we talking about? The Junkyard Dog. So it would be nice if this figure actually came with a collar and chain. He doesn't. That kind of destroys the figure for me. And he has like a John Cena and like a Ultimate Warrior, etc. type of pose where the stomach and the chest is kind of separated. His hands are up. They kind of twist that to do kind of like a little power slam type of deal. And that is his action feature. So yeah, we've always seen Junkyard Dog in matches with, red pants. This look is actually really solid. In fact, Wrestling Writer, my buddy Eric Boyer, he was creating a couple of different figures for me. Generally, I don't like cutting up or destroying existing figures, but I did have a group of figures that were basically damaged beyond repair. So one of the things I asked him to do was to kind of salvage those figures by creating something I wanted. That included taking a LJN Big John stud, taking his arms off and putting it on a King Kong Bundy. That way, one of my all-time favorite figures gets one of my all-time favorite fighting poses. He was also going to reutilize the thighs, basically from the waist down of the SD Jones, or excuse me, of a Big John stud to create a more appropriate version of Junkyard Dog. Essentially, this version right here, with much thicker legs than what you got from the original LJN Junkyard Dog. So I've been waiting on those. There's a lot of figures for like a year on some, a year and a half on others. Several more months on other figures. So it's been a while. I kind of told him that I want all the figures to be shipped one time, and so I'm kind of becoming impatient now. But whenever that does arrive, I'm going to be super excited about those. Junkyard Dog, again, with the Iron Sheik. Perfect that they included these guys. Later on, they did bring in Roddy Piper. Yes, Piper had his LJN. He had his Hasbro. His Hasbro is actually better than his Mattel Retro. And I'll explain why once we get to the next series. Again, Series 10 concludes the 2019 run. And you don't see a new figure again for another 3 years until Mattel Creations releases Wave 1 in 2022. So, I am going to make one more video. Over these last few days, I've been making 3 videos each night. And so I'm going to try and keep that trend going. Knock out Series 11 aka Wave 1. And then tomorrow I'll come back down here, do Wave 2, 3, and 4, and that'll complete the Mattel Retros. And once that's complete, we're going to dive into... I'm hoping to make the Random Treasures video that I want to make. I kind of put up a short talking about an upcoming video. But I wanted enough people to see it so that I could get enough views, you know, because I kind of feel like it's an important video. So I'm really looking forward to making that. And I'm hoping that everybody, you know, enjoys the video and, you know, likes or approves of what I have to say about them. And I'm working with Net right now to try and pick up some of the figures that I'm missing. And I don't want to do it because I don't like the figures. But I also want to do my favorite LJN or my favorite Random Treasures tournament. So I kind of have to in order to do that tournament. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching as always. I look forward to talking to you in the comments. And see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye everyone.